high school debate is so incredibly hijacked to the point where now students are completely throwing out the assigned topic at hand to debate what they think is the most important debate in the country: the treatment of trans students in debate rounds.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about how wokeness has infiltrated the field, the competition of debate in K through 12, college, and beyond. But in this video, we're going to focus on high school. Now, you saw the young lady at the very beginning. That's Brianna Watley. She actually quit the National Speech and Debate Association because of how woke it's become. You have woke judges. You have moderators that are not really adhering to the rules, letting kids do whatever they want to do if it fits their particular political narrative. It's a crazy mess. Now, before we get into the videos, I just want to say this. I have a personal connection to debate. You guys may or may not have seen me debate on television for many years. I debate all the time on my live show. I debate every time I speak in my personal everyday life. I really enjoy debate. My grandfather was on a debate team in college, and then he taught English, and he was on a debate team there. Dad taught me quite a bit about debate because he grew up, obviously, with granddad. Like, debating is in my blood. I really enjoy debate, and you got to have it, because without debate, then how can we reach a middle ground? If one person thinks one thing, the other thinks something else, we got to get to the middle. And how can we do that without a fair debate that's moderated and regulated with rules and procedures and everything else? I don't really know. Now, before we go any further, let's roll some video. We're going to see one more from Miss Watley. Then we're going to see an example of a woke debate that went totally off the rails in high school. And if you want to see this video in full, link as always will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Imagine that you're a high school debater and you're walking into your debate round to find out that Lila Lavender, a self-proclaimed Marxist-Leninist Maoist, is judging you, who openly stated that she would never let a student win if they made an argument defending Israel or capitalism. That's a reality for many students, because the National Speech and Debate Association won't take action. They won't condemn Lila for her bias or barred her from judging students. And so they perpetuate students being judged not on their merit, but how they can confirm their judge's bias.
That's crazy. That's totally crazy. Now, let's take a look at Miss Lila Lavender, if you will. Let's take a quick look. All right. There we go. Lila Lavender. Now, that's a nice little 5 o'clock shadow we got going on, Miss Lavender. Okay. So there you have it. That is Lila Lavender. I will link to this particular infographic in the box, but you can already see what's going on right there. I don't need to say too much more. All right. So I will keep on rocking and rolling. Now, here's an example of a debate that went off the rails. I'm not going to play much of the debate at all, but you can see the participants here. All right. You see the judge with the pronouns, the she, her. These are other judges. Now, let's read what happened, because that's probably going to be the best way to really go about examining what's happening right now with debate in high school. And of course, that'll carry on. Once you indoctrinate and brainwash children in high school and before, it'll carry on in college. The same people who were debating in high school are going to go on to higher education. The same judges will also be present in higher education. And then when they get out there beyond their graduate programs, that same mentality will stay with them unless they have some kind of deprogramming or some kind of way to get debriefed. But let's keep on going. What you're about to watch is the final round of the most prestigious national high school debate tournament. Team A proceeds to tell Team B that they will not be debating the assigned topic, benefits, costs of the IMF. That's the International Monetary Fund, I suppose. Because trans people are being genocided by MAGA Republicans. Yes, that's what they say. We're not going to debate the IMF because of MAGA Republicans, okay? and that it is way more important than debating the IMF. Team A starts off by playing an audio clip from a 1980s AIDS protest and says that 28 states want to delete trans people like her. They tell the judges that this round does nothing to the IMF itself, and as such, they have decided that this round is going to be a debate about debate. What? And the judge's choice instead is whether to affirm our performance. They proudly declare that they will occupy the debate space until trans debaters can participate safely. Now, let's go back to the screenshot. We're talking about Zoom calls. These people are not even in the same location as each other. They are in 6 different environments. So we're talking about you got to be able to participate in a Zoom call safely. All right, let's just be clear. Team B then immediately concedes the round because they don't want to dispute that transgenocide is real and be labeled transphobic. The rest of the round is a struggle session where Team A states that misgendering is violent and that if you do it, you should automatically lose. This is the final round of the most prestigious high school debate tournament of the school year, and they made a mockery of it with their selfish, unintelligible, performative rant. The worst part? The judges praised Team A for their bravery and courage and crowned them the national champions. This is sick. It's anti-merit, anti-debate, and anti-American. No wonder droves of kids are quitting high school debate. Like Miss Watley from the beginning, she's like, what am I going to do with this? If you are there to debate, I know about debate. I've done like these moderated type of debates. I've done all kind of debate. And there's rules. And when you are judged about who won, who lost, or whatever, okay, how well did you apply to the rules? Did you do any kind of ad hominem? Were you able to be respectful? Were you able to, did you win the debate based on the rules that were set forward? When you just totally ignore the topic and ignore the rules, that should be an automatic disqualifying gesture. But because you don't want to be seen as transphobic, all of a sudden that no longer is the case. It's really weird. But let's finish up with this last piece. The National Speech and Debate Association cannot be reformed. It's time for viable high school debate alternatives to stand up and welcome young Americans who actually want to debate. I believe my nonprofit, you can see it right there, would be one of those alternatives. So let's take a quick listen in on this debate. Again, it's like 13 minutes long. I will not play the entire thing, but of course I will link to it in the box so you can hear it in its full glory. Let's check it out.
Thousands of demonstrators demand that New York City do more to help those.
So that's the AIDS commercial, I suppose. Let's continue.
People, more than that, we are tired of
27 states wanted to kill me. I don't know that man's name, but I know a little of the hopelessness and the horrible sinking fear in his voice. Here's how I prepped for the TOC. I woke up a week before and learned that 28 instead of 27 states wanted to kill me.
The clip I played is from the 1987 ACTA protest in New York City. It was not the first and certainly not the last demonstration of its kind. It joins a tradition of trans and queer protest against institutions and to reform communities that are violent and exclusive. We are here to join this tradition in our own small way. So welcome to the protest. We are tired of how debate treats trans people. More than that, we are tired of the way that their treatment is normalized, how it is treated as a necessary byproduct of having good discourse. When a nationally ranked team is bold enough to read arguments and make trans people uncomfortable in front of an 11-person panel and not be called out for it, something needs to change. When a trans kid can go 3 years in debate believing being misgendered was simply something he needed to take in order to win ballots, something needs to.
Okay, so you see them at the very top left talking. Now, what's going on? Are these transgender people? I see 2 girls. Am I wrong? I don't understand what's going on. Misgendering. Look, if I see a young lady and I say it's a young lady and then he, she, them, they is like, oh, nah, don't call me he. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Change when almost every trans person quits debate or considers quitting several times a month, several times a week, several times a day. Something needs to change. First, the framework. Status quo political discourse remains fixated on the notion of the child, symbol of a future.
So remember, this was not the topic. We're talking about they were supposed to debate the IMF. Now all of a sudden we have this slam poetry session about being transgender in the field of debate. And I believe it's in high school. Or actually, this might be college. I'm not quite sure. It doesn't really matter. And the way things are nowadays, you got these infantilized people who are 25 years old but act like 13-year-olds. But let's keep on going.
Society we must protect. Debate 12. Politicians universally frame their debaters around the question of what policies are best for children, who keeps the child safest. Politics, however supposedly radical, is simply the universal movement of submission to the ideal of the future, to preserve, maintain, and upgrade the structures of society, and to proliferate them through for all the sake of the children. It is for this reason queerness finds itself missing from political discourse. Sound familiar? It should. Still having abstract policy debates in as violent and exclusionary a community as this constitutes.
Okay, so you get the idea. I mean, we have slam poetry rather than debate. Now, imagine you are 15 years old, you're 10th, 11th grade, trying to get into debate. You think it's a good field to be in. Maybe your pawpaw and your daddy and everybody else, they were involved. You get into it, and then you hear something like that. You want to quit too. I mean, that's just totally ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. A waste of time. Yet another institution that has been taken over by the LGBTQ LMNOP X, Y, and Z. And I ain't talking about people that just happen to be gay or whatever it is. I'm talking about those that just do things like that. It's like, what does that have to do with anything? Listen, if you are at a debate to debate a specific topic, that should be what you do, rather than just making it be a protest and going off on some kind of random tangent about whatever you're passionate in. That is not the topic. But as I close, I want to say this. I think you're going to see a lot more just weird stuff like this if there's no rule set down, if there's no consequence. If you could just do whatever you want to do, then rules are meaningless. So you're going to see a further decay in society when rules don't matter, when following a particular program doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. Who cares about doing that the appropriate way or doing that the appropriate way? I could do whatever I want to do and I'll be celebrated for it. That is the overall message I'm seeing from these kinds of incidents. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's going on here with debate? Do you think that it has gone totally woke, beyond saving? How about K through 12 education in general? There's a lot of woke stuff going on, the trans and the LGBT. Can it be fixed, or are we just too far gone? I can't really tell, but whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.